Every single day, a devastating, life-altering event happens in homes literally all across the world. A mature patient is just walking across their kitchen, doing absolutely nothing unusual, when suddenly, boom, they're on the floor, and their independence is instantly shattered. Now, conventional wisdom always blames, a bunched prog or a slippery tile. But the clinical truth? It's far more terrifying. That accident didn't start with a rug. It started months, maybe even years earlier, in the silent, progressive deterioration of how their body moves through space. We're investigating a high-stakes biomechanical collapse today. We are looking at a hidden danger that millions just accept as normal, completely unaware that their daily walking pattern has quietly turned into a ticking time bomb.
The fall happens before you even realize you are falling. Think about that for a second. That's not just some dramatic exaggeration. It is a terrifying physiological certainty. For a mature patient, adopting a low, flat-footed step that just happens to catch an everyday household threshold, it's the biomechanical equivalent of flying a commercial jetliner mere inches above a jagged, unpredictable mountain range. There is absolutely zero margin for recovery. I mean, none. By the time the toe actually catches the obstruction, the body's center of gravity is already so heavily compromised that natural defense mechanisms are entirely bypassed. The impact is literally inevitable before the brain even has time to process the trip. So to understand exactly why this happens, we have to examine the pathology of what's called the shuffle gait. Society loves to normalize this, right? We affectionately dismiss it as just the grandpa shuffle, or we think of it as a totally natural phase of life. But listen to me, it is not just slowing down. It is a silent, creeping neurological disease. A mature patient experiences a close call, and in response, their nervous system tries to protect them by keeping their feet closer to the ground. But this adaptation, it's a massive trap. The steps get shorter, the feet stop lifting cleanly, the gaze drops, and the upper body leans way forward. What actually feels to the patient like a safe, careful way of walking is in reality a catastrophic system failure just waiting for a single trigger.
Beneath this compromised gait lies a hidden, deeply destructive process that we call the atrophy cascade. Clinically, what is happening here is a profound muscular and neurological deterioration. The hip flexors, the muscles responsible for lifting your legs, they weaken from chronic underuse. The glutes and the core destabilize. The crucial connection between the brain and the legs slows down to a total crawl. It's essentially like driving a high-speed vehicle on completely bald tires with a totally collapsed suspension system. Furthermore, this conflicting biological state, trying to move forward while the body inherently resists actually lifting the feet, is literally like pressing the gas and the brake at the exact same time in your cardiovascular engine. It burns tremendous energy while delivering absolutely zero stability.
The difference between surviving and failing comes down entirely to mechanics. The shuffle gait pitches the body forward into a flat-footed landing, which creates an instant trip hazard. But the biological cure, it's the heel strike. This is exactly how human beings are structurally intended to move. When a heel strike is executed properly, the posture is upright, the body rolls smoothly and continuously right through the arch, and the movement is highly efficient and incredibly stable. But as muscles weaken and confidence erodes over time, that life-saving heel strike just disappears.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is how we engineer an immediate intervention. And changing this starts with your very next step. We are forcing a biomechanical override. Step 1. You reach the heels slightly forward of the body. Step 2. Make precise initial contact with that heel. Step 3. Roll your weight continuously right through the arch of the foot. And Step 4. Push off decisively through the toes to drive the next stride. When this exact sequence is executed, it triggers a life-saving chain reaction throughout the mature physiology. The stride naturally lengthens, foot clearance dramatically improves, and the core and hip flexors are violently woken up from their dormant state. All of this builds into an urgent clinical map. And I need to be absolutely clear about this. These reprogramming protocols are not just some generic workout routine. Not at all. This is highly specific neurological reprogramming designed to rebuild a shattered motor pattern literally from the ground up. The conscious heel strike rebuilds those faded neural pathways. The high knee march forces the hip flexors to restore the critical lift reflex. The stride length walk aggressively corrects a compromised center of gravity. The slow motion walk eliminates those dangerous momentum-based shortcuts that just hide bad balance. And the obstacle step-over trains rapid, real-world clearance.
Now, there is one critical rule you absolutely must memorize here. Speed is the enemy of relearning. The slower you walk, the stronger the neural signal you are sending to your brain. If you try to rush through these protocols, you guarantee failure. When mature patients walk at their normal habitual speed, they're relying on flawed momentum.
By slowing down to a crawl, we're talking taking 3 to 4 full seconds per individual step. You strip away all that momentum. You force your muscles to work independently. You literally have to embrace the wobble. Every time you shake, every time you wobble during these slow steps, that is your nervous system aggressively rewiring itself. Rushing completely bypasses the cure.
However, we must issue a grave, authoritative medical warning regarding this intervention. This is intense biomechanical rehabilitation, and safety? It's non-negotiable. If a mature patient has had joint replacements, plantar fasciitis, or literally any weight-bearing restrictions, getting physician clearance is an absolute requirement, no exceptions. These protocols must be executed with mandatory proximity to walls or sturdy support structures. You must use non-slip footwear or execute them barefoot on a highly secure surface. And if there is any sharp pain, any dizziness, or profound instability, execution must cease immediately. You simply cannot fight a pathology by sustaining an acute injury.
But when executed safely and consistently, the biological results are just staggering. It goes far beyond just not falling over. We are actively restoring essential nerve function. The careful repetition wakes up those dormant toe, arch, and ankle muscles. It rebuilds upward circulation pathways, forcefully driving blood right into the smallest, most vulnerable vessels in the extremities. This consistent, patient repetition creates a powerful daily biological reminder. It actually nourishes fading nerve connections, aggressively combating that heavy, disconnected numbness and nighttime tingling that mature patients are so often falsely told they just have to accept as a permanent reality.
So we've stripped away the illusions of the shuffle gait, we've exposed the hidden atrophy cascade, and we've completely outlined the exact biomechanical sequence and neurological protocols required to rebuild your stability, or the stability of a loved one, from the absolute ground up. Which leaves us with one final, vital question to confront today. Is your daily walking pattern preserving your physiologic independence, or is it quietly preparing you for an unrecoverable fall? The next step you take will answer that question. Make it a heel strike. Focus your mind, rebuild your nervous system, and take total control of your biology.